A society to have order and to protect its citizens must have rules. Rules or laws are created and agencies are formed to enforce the rules. In the United States, you are innocent until proven guilty. Our judicial system, our courts, have the task of determining guilt. When guilt is found, the courts mete out the consequences. If we follow the rules of our society, we may never have to face the bar of justice inside a criminal courtroom. Join us now as we see an actual Lake County court in session.
I'm Judge Miller. Could all of you, including visitors, please raise your right hands? Do each of you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and this you do under the pains and penalty of perjury? Okay, you can put your hands down. Each of you has a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. When you get to the microphone, I need to know if you're under 18. I need to know if you're not a citizen of the United States. Pleading today will affect your immigration status. I need to know if you're on probation or parole because pleading today could affect your probation or parole status. If you plead today, you're giving up your right to have a trial and to have an attorney represent you at that trial. If I sentence you today on a criminal case, then you have to go down to room 105 and either pay the mandatory costs or sign up for the payment plan. Today, we're being tape recorded and videotaped. Victorious Wright, please. Mr. Wright, you allegedly let Mr. Bridges drive your vehicle.
Yes,
How old
ma'am.
are you?
36.
36, okay. Mr. Bridges was charged with driving with no license, and he pled to that this summer. So now we have to decide what we're going to do with you.
Can I speak?
Yes, speak.
I was not aware. I didn't openly, knowingly let him drive. I didn't know that he didn't have a license. And
So which is it? You didn't...
I didn't know he didn't have a driver's license.
What difference does that make if you're not the one who let him drive?
No, I let him drive.
I misunderstood. I thought you said I didn't...
No, I didn't knowingly. No, rephrase that. I didn't knowingly let him drive, not knowing he didn't have a license.
Okay, you let him drive, but you didn't know he didn't have a license.
Yes, ma'am. And
so you didn't knowingly break the law.
Yeah, I didn't know. And my reason is I've seen him drive numerous other times. And we was coming from the dump. We was working. He works for me sometimes. We were coming from the dump, and I said, hey, man, you mind driving? I didn't feel, I got kind of a little heated, exhausted. We just dumped like an 18-foot trailer. And he was like, okay. We got pulled over.
Okay, got you. Okay, state, this is Mr. Wright. The officer said he had a good attitude. Mm-hmm. This young man worked for him on a part-time basis. He was heat exhausted. And so thinking that he had a valid driver's license, since he'd seen him drive before, he said, would you drive the vehicle? The guy who drove the vehicle pled to it this summer in July and has a fine to pay. So Mr. Bridges is asking if we'll drop this against him with a judicial warning. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry. Mr. Wright is asking if we'll drop this against him. What kind of work do you do? I know it involves a dump truck.
Real estate. I do anything having to do with a home, remodeling.
Do you have any kind of a county license or?
Yes, I have handyman license, city and county. And I've tried to help Mr. Bridges obtain his license, and he failed the test.
Since this happened?
Yeah.
I would see no way I could prove that he did know the kid didn't have a license, so I don't see any reason to proceed with this.
All right, we will dismiss it. Mr. Wright, thank you for coming back and being so polite. And I guess next time you let someone drive and say, show me your driver's license and your insurance and your...
I'm doing that. Thank you.
Wait for your paperwork. Solomon Lopez, Hyber Marcello will be next. Where's Hyber Marcello?
On the first row, Your Honor.
Okay. Could you tell him he'll be next after Mr. Lopez? Mr. Lopez, you were charged with driving while license suspended. You had one in Seminole County in '06. This time you're suspended because you did not complete a substance abuse class on time. So that's jail. Have you gotten your license back now?
No, ma'am, and I'll request the lawyer.
You're entering a not guilty plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How much do you make a week?
I make $300 a week.
All right, I'll appoint the public defense.
I'll get a private attorney, please.
Oh, well, then you don't have to ask my permission
All right.
for that. You're present, you enter a no contest plea, and you're going to get your own attorney. You need to know that because you have a felony pending in Orange County, they could violate your bond and revoke your bond, and you could be going to jail in Orange County for that.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you don't want them to come get you at work, you may want to check the website and see if they've already issued a warrant and then turn yourself in.
Okay.
All right, wait for your paperwork. Mr. Marcelo. Next will be Carla Puente Luna. Where are you? Okay, you'll be after him. Mr. Marcelo is charged with driving with no license.
Estar manejando sin licencia.
Appears he's never had this charge before, so it looks like he can take the written plea. Does the state have any information I don't have?
Did you say he's never gotten this before?
Uh-huh.
What about back in June 29th of 2006?
So you
Case number
must,
2006.
so we have more than one record. Okay. He's been charged with this twice, or once, in '06.
En el año 2006.
Okay, Miss Angie, he apparently was charged with driving with no license in '06, but it's not on this. Does he have any identification with him?
Identificación en su persona.
Lo que pasa que
¿Tiene identificación en su
No.
persona?
ahorita no porque cuando salí
I don't have any, no.
de Bushnell, de la cárcel, no me entregaron mis ID.
When I got out of the Bushnell jail, they didn't give me my ID back.
Why was he in the Bushnell jail?
¿Por qué estaba encarcelado usted en Bushnell?
Porque como yo andaba en el trabajo que andaba un grupo y una persona andaba trabajando con otro nombre y y yo le dije que ese era mi primo, por eso el trooper me echó los cargos a mí. Me acusó por
The trooper gave me charges
por robo de
because
identidad, pero cumplí 2 meses y 7 días.
for identity theft. ¿Cuánto?
2 meses y 7 días allá y me soltaron.
I did 2 months and 7 days over there, and then they let me go.
Does he want the public defender appointed on this case?
Señor, ¿usted quiere los servicios del defensor público en este caso para consultar con él?
Or does he want to plead no contest? He's charged with driving with no license again. They said this is the second time he's been caught driving with no license.
Esta es la segunda vez que lo están acusando por manejar sin licencia a conducir.
Sí,
Ok,
pero
ese es el cargo.
usted sabe que pues uno tiene la necesidad del trabajo, ¿va? De mantener la familia y pues en ese momento yo era el último día que iba a manejar porque me iba a cambiar más cerca
But
para
you
no
have to
manejar.
understand, you know,
pues,
when you have a
me tocó la suerte que me pararon.
family, it is a necessity to have to go to work and get about. And that was going to be my last day to drive because now my work was closer.
It's not a necessity because the law says he cannot drive.
Porque la ley dice que usted no puede estar en la calle manejando.
Yo sé.
¿Entiende?
And since he chose to ignore the law a second time,
La ley, por segunda vez,
it's jail time.
así que es encarcelamiento otra vez, señor.
Y no hay otra manera de como pagar con horas comunitarias
Isn't there any other
por mi
way,
trabajo, con mi
maybe to
familia.
pay with community service or any other kind of work?
We'd be
This is-
amenable to the weekend work program since I believe he's not, isn't that what you were
A
saying?
lo mejor trabajo fin de semana.
Sí,
Okay, Miss
Yes.
Annie, could you back up and explain the weekend work program to him while I do the next person?
Le vamos a explicar el trabajo fin de semana.
Carla Puente Luna, do you speak English? Come on up. Okay, Miss Puente Luna, you are charged with driving with no license. This appears to be her first. Does the state agree?
Agreed, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Puente, you cannot drive without a license. Are you able to get a license?
No. But I was
Excuse me, why are you raising your hand?
My aunt.
The reason why she was driving.
All right, come on down.
Because the reason was because she was in labor and it was an emergency. I had to take her to the hospital. She was gonna have her baby. That's why I was driving.
All right, Mr. Stevenson and Mr. Sandor, can you talk to them and see what evidence they have of this emergency? You have a witness that you can talk to.
I can talk to the witness. but-
Okay, witness, could you talk to him about what happened?
Well, I was on labor that day, and I don't really have nobody take me to the hospital because my mom she don't know drive, and my sister either. And
Okay, your mom doesn't drive, your sister doesn't drive, and she's not supposed to drive.
I know, but she know drive. That's the point. She's the one she know drive, and
Miss Annie, what was that?
No, I know how to drive.
You know how to drive. How is it you know how to drive?
In Mexico, I learned how to drive.
How old are you?
18, about to be 19.
Are you a citizen of the United States?
No.
How did you get here from, do you have a visa?
I used to have one. I have one, but it's expired already.
So you're not here legally, so you can't get a license.
No. I'm like in process to fix papers.
yo estaba en labor de parto en otro hospital. Y entonces ahí me sacaron para afuera con 5 centímetros. Y era una
I was in
emergencia.
another hospital in labor, and then they kicked me out after I was 5 centimeters dilated.
Y estaba yo sangrando mucho, estaba con muchas
Y cuando llegamos
contracciones.
And I was getting a lot of contractions, I was even bleeding.
Ellos me sacaron porque ellos estaban diciendo que el Medicaid no iba a cubrir
And they kicked me out because they said that Medicaid wasn't covering,
porque yo no tenía 41 semanas de embarazo.
since I didn't have 41 weeks of pregnancy.
Entonces,
Cuando llegamos a la casa, ella
yo-
se empezó a sentir más
él no
mal.
estaba ahí.
Prosecutors, are you listening?
Yes.
Él no estaba ahí.
He wasn't home.
Y ella era la que estaba ahí. El vehículo lo teníamos,
She was the
pero
only one that was home. We did have the vehicle.
y ella era la que estaba disponible para manejarlo.
And
Nada
she
más
was-
estaba mi mamá y mi hermana, pero
And
ellas
she
no saben
was
manejar.
really the only one that was available to drive. My mother was there, my sister was there, but they don't know how to drive.
Entonces ella pues lo hizo por mí porque ella estaba.
And she did. She did
en-
it for me because of the condition that I was in.
Entonces
And she drove her from where to where?
Mascota,
ella solo
Mascota Claremont.
ella solo manejó de Eustis,
No,
del,
de
hospi-
Masca.
del hospital donde me sacaron, tiene sentido, del hospital donde me sacaron, al trayecto al otro hospital para que me pudieran atender.
She drove me from the hospital where they kicked me out
Which one?
De
Waterman.
Waterman
to
and
the
Eustis,
other hospital
Sounds
where
like-
they took care of me.
From which hospital to which hospital?
Claremont. From Waterman to Claremont.
Sí. Ella me llevó solo de eso.
She
Fue solo
just-
ese trayecto. Entonces,
she
Well, you live in Mascot, why would you have gone to the hospital in Tavares to start with?
no, yo no vivo en Mascat, yo vivo en Leesburg con él.
I live in
Mi
Leesburg
familia
with
vive
him.
en Mascat.
My family lives in Mascot.
So you live in Leesburg?
Sí.
Then why wouldn't you go to the hospital in Leesburg?
Porque mi delivery yo lo escogí en Eustis porque se supone que es un muy buen servicio.
Because I chose, to have the delivery done in Eustis because it's supposed to be such good service.
Todo el mundo habla de que es un excelente servicio.
Everybody
Entonces yo
talks
dije
that
que
it's
era
such
mi
a
primer
wonderful
bebé
place. It was my
en
first
Estados
baby
Unidos.
in
y,
the US.
Entonces yo decidí ir ahí.
That's why I decided to
I
go
was
there.
living in Groveland at the time when she was pregnant, and then everything was set up for Waterman. And then about 3 months ago, I decided to move to Leesburg in my house.
move from Groveland to Leesburg. So we just leave everything where it was.
Okay, and how did you plan to pay for it?
My Medicaid.
Medicaid.
But they said you didn't have Medicaid.
We're going through the process right now.
Okay, state,
Your Honor, if they have any documentation or corroboration on the date that they got this, yes, the facts qualify as a necessity defense. I just have to, will this qualify? What date was the ticket, Your Honor?
ticket was August 22nd,
What time?
3:21 a.m.
Okay, and is there any sort of,
Nothing, no reason why she was stopped.
well, that's why we would love to have probable cause affidavits with our tickets. Given that he's shown me documentation that supports this version of events, my only concern is that it looks like Miss Carla Puente Luna had a similar charge in Orange County that was also dismissed
I don't have it.
on March 11th of 2011.
Juvenile justice.
That was in juvie.
Hmm?
She's indicated it was in juvie.
Okay, but she's charged with driving before without a license.
So, I mean, yes, these facts certainly, if they are correct, I would say qualify as a necessity defense. He has shown me paperwork that corroborates this version of events, and since we have no evidence from the officer one way or the other, I would be inclined to say, yes, we'll dismiss it. My one concern is, she's apparently had the same charge dismissed before, so if she shows up in here again with this, I really won't care what the reason is. We'll be asking for something more severe.
Why was it dismissed in Orange County?
¿Por qué fue desestimado en Orange County? ¿Por qué te retiran los cargos
Hice todo
aquella
lo
vez?
de community service y todo eso.
Because I did everything I was supposed to do, all the community service, everything. Y a través de teen court.
Yeah.
Why was she driving that time?
Through teen court.
Why was she driving that time?
Manejando. ¿Por qué estabas manejando
¿Otra
esa
vez?
vez? Esa vez.
O esa vez por estupideces de niños.
Stupidity.
All right, Mr. Stevenson,
Based on the evidence I have seen, we're going to dismiss it, and please don't come in here with another story on the same charge.
all right, I will dismiss it as an emergency,
Vamos a retirar los cargos porque era un caso de emergencia.
but I'm not thrilled with any of it. Okay, we'll get you the paperwork in just a minute. Next, we have Cavante Goldsby.
Your Honor, just for the record, Mr. Iber Acevedo Marcelo will accept the weekend work program if,
Okay, beginning when?
Also on the 15th and the 16th, that's the last spot for that weekend.
September 15th and 16th.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, weekend work program, September 15th and 16th. All right, Mr. Goldsby, thank you for dressing so respectfully for the court. You're charged with possession of marijuana. Mr. Stevenson, what's the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, in this case, the state is seeking an adjudication of guilt. 59 days in Lake County Jail. Don't worry, that's suspended. You don't have to do those 59 days, as long as in the next 6 months you take care of what we want. We want $200, a stop class, that's a don't take marijuana class, 2 clean drug screens, 30 days apart, and no new crimes. So just to say it one more time, if you plead out today, there'll be an adjudication of guilt, so it's on your record. It's 59 days in Lake County Jail that are suspended as long as you do the following within the next 6 months. $200 fine, stop class, 2 clean screens, 30 days apart, and no new crimes.
Still flood?
Yes. Hang on one moment, please. And this is Miss. Okay, did we finish with him or not?
Yes, you can put it.
Okay. Could you leave that in the file then? Okay, yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Gavante is in his second year of school at Broad College, and he just came back last night for the coming to court. So I just want to put that in there.
So he's got all this future ahead of him, and he risks messing it up here.
No, I like to say that when we got, I didn't have possession, like it wasn't on me. It was a joint in the car in the back seat, and since I was the only one in the back seat, the officer, like, he didn't ask no one who's.
Okay, marijuana stays in your system at least 30 days.
I can pass a drug screen.
For
right
some people, it stays in their system 90 days. So if you have not used marijuana in 90 days, you will test clean. So if you want to go take a drug screen right now and come back, if it's clean, then that will go towards convincing the state that it wasn't yours.
All right, I can do that.
All right, Ms. Fisher, I don't know if you have someplace close or if Western Judicial's closer. Okay, Western Judicial's the closest place to go, I think, then. Do you know where Taco John's is? Okay, could you explain to him where to go? And he can go for a screen right now. It's between $15 and $30. I don't know exactly, but if you're clean, bring us the proof. All right, Alice Nielsen. Ms. Nielsen, you are charged with driving while license suspended. We continued it for 2 months for you to get your license. Were you able to do it?
I was finally able to get it finished yesterday.
So you got it?
Yes.
I don't see a card.
I have the license, but I have the printout from the internet where I've got everything approved. I went to the DMV yesterday, and they said you're free to drive now.
Mr. Sandor, could you look at her "You're free to drive" paperwork, please?
I went on to myflorida.com last night.
Your Honor, it looks like she's reinstated, as in she's cleared all of her suspensions, but she does not have the DL quite yet.
So she still needs to go get her card.
I have my license. The only thing that's different is that the address.
Okay, great. Could we have that, and we'll run the printout and see if she's reinstated. It should be A-okay.
The only difference is the very week that I got my license, I found out 2 days later we were going to move, so I have a different address, which is on the record online.
Okay.
I didn't have the extra $25 to have it printed out yesterday.
All right. Except for the address issue, this is valid.
Right. I just didn't have the extra $25 to do it.
Well,
I'm not working, and I have a job today I'm leaving here to go do, and I'll have that money. I'll be able to get it taken care of.
but if you get stopped again, an officer can charge you for not having the correct address on your driver's license.
As soon as I get the money from this job today, I can put it in the bank, and I can order it online or go to the place.
This case today, you're charged with driving while license suspended, and that was June the 2nd. June the 2nd? Oh, yeah, we gave you more time. We continued it. All right, state, can we change this one to a civil?
Looks like the answer to that is no, Your Honor.
That's not a good answer. She
We
was
have
only
a previous one from May 3rd?
May 3rd of this year?
Yes, from Glades County.
That's what I had the ticket for, and I had a ticket, that's what I paid, and I was trying to get everything fixed up, and my license was suspended because I didn't have the money to pay the ticket.
Okay, stop talking because it's not making it better, it's making it worse. All right, I do not have on my printout that she has a prior driving while license suspended. You have one from when?
May 3rd, 2012, in the Glades County.
I do not have that on this record, and this we just, okay, she had something in May. That's what she just reinstated on. And you think that was a driving while license suspended?
I'll admit my paperwork says she was charged with a driving while license suspended. I do not know if it's an E, not a no.
Thank you.
All right, so the ticket you just took care of in Glades County, was that a driving while license suspended?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so what are you wanting now, State? She had $200 fine?
And we'll just do an adjudication of guilt, and the mandatories will be fine.
Wow. Okay, if you enter a no contest plea, I would find you guilty, and we'll leave it at just the mandatory costs because you fixed everything.
I'm not working. I'm just trying. It's hard for me to work because I can't take care of
Okay.
my daughter's
Listen
children.
to me again. They're not asking for a fine. I'm not adding a fine. But everyone who's sentenced on a criminal case has mandatory costs. You'll have to go to room 105 and sign up for the payment plan. If you can't pay it, your license will be suspended. That's just the way it is.
Is there any way that you can make it civil?
Me, you're talking to me.
Is there any way it could be civil? I'm really trying hard to make sure I get everything fixed and
Well, it
kept on
comes to
track.
this, almost the same price. The civil would be $210. This will be, well, it was $273, but if you get about $300, and you'll have a payment plan, but they're not willing to make it civil.
Great. When I got stopped the last time, my license was, I hadn't received the notification from the state that my license was suspended.
Your
And I didn't
license
know
was
I-
suspended for not taking care of your last driving while license suspended in Glades County.
I hadn't taken care of it in time because I didn't have money. I'm not working. My employment stopped in May, and I have been trying to pick up little jobs here and there.
And you shouldn't have been driving.
But I didn't know that my license was suspended in June, or the last ticket that I had. Even the officer
You
said
got
it
a
was
driving
suspended
while
2 days
license
before.
suspended, and you didn't pay it. You
But I-
had to know you'd be suspended.
But I hadn't received the notice from the state. He says, your license has only been suspended for 2 days. You haven't, I said, I haven't received the notice. And he said, well, your license.
Probably because of the change
Right,
of
because
address.
I got that the same week we got the house re-rented, and I didn't realize that I hadn't put the right address on there.
So that could
But
have
I
been
took care of
another
it right
charge. They didn't give you another ticket for the wrong address, and it still has the wrong address. But you did not pay your driving while license suspended from Glades County on time.
Right. 'cause
So
I
you
didn't
got
have- I
suspended.
didn't have the money.
Doesn't matter the reason, you didn't pay it on time, so you were suspended, so you should not have been driving. This is a perfectly valid charge.
I didn't know I was only suspended for 2 days. I didn't even know.
You
I was
should have
driving.
known because you didn't pay your last driving while license suspended on time. Could you hand this back to her? If you want to say not guilty and talk to an attorney, I'll appoint the public defender. There's a $250 minimum charge for the public defender. All right, then we're going to printer. She's accepting this reluctantly. She needs to be printed, and she'll have to go to room 105 and sign up for the payment plan. Nina Dundor. Miss Dundor, you're charged with driving while license suspended. Your license was suspended because your insurance lapsed.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a valid license now?
No.
Why not?
I don't even have my car. I gave my car up, and I just haven't had a chance to get my license yet because I'm.
Have you turned the tag in?
I actually have my tag with me.
Well, if you had turned your tag in, you might not have gotten suspended. So you need to take that tag to the tag office and see if they'll unsuspend you. But at this point, you'll have to pay a reinstatement fee.
Okay.
And you can't drive until you get that taken care of.
Well, I don't have a car, so that's okay.
Well, on this day, you apparently had one.
Right.
It was a 2000 Ford, August the 1st.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you had your valid driver's license, since this is a first, we might have been able to change it to a civil.
Okay.
So you have to fix it at some time.
Right.
Can you fix it over the next 2 months?
I should be able to, yeah.
All right, you're present. You waive speedy trial. We'll continue it till November 7th, 2012, 8 a.m. Defendant to fix DL. Yes?
Yes.
All right, wait for your paperwork, and we'll see you then.